Greetings, friends. I wanted to give my reaction to the shooting of former President Trump the other day. My first reaction is that he was nearly killed. The thing clipped his ear, so if it had been an inch or two closer, it would have hit him right in the head, and that would be probably the end. I don't know if it was an inside job, if it was a crazy person. I would suspect that someone with a lot of money paid this person because they knew how to use a gun from a distance. I understand at least one person in the crowd was killed, several injured. Maybe that casualty count will increase, or death toll will increase with time. So it was a real event. It wasn't something you could just totally hide with spin and narrative. The mainstream has to face up to it, but they will spin it away, and don't expect it to change the minds of anyone on the left. Either they'll say Trump deserved it, or they'll rationalize it away either way. So don't expect it to gain any sympathy from your enemies. Now, I don't think Trump is necessarily the guy to save America or any Western country. I mean, I'm Canadian, but obviously Canada is far gone. We don't have any hope like America does, at least where you have someone that could change things. We don't have anyone like that in Canada. Who do we have? Pierre Poilievre? But anyways, I'm getting aside from the main idea, which is that indeed he was nearly killed. So if you say that he was planning this as a publicity stunt, like, oh, just first of all, that's really disturbing because people, at least one person was killed. So why would you fool around with that? That makes it hard to believe that this could be a stunt put on to gain publicity, gain favor, at least in the eyes of his supporters. And the fact that he was nearly killed, I mean, hey, just shoot my, can you graze my ear? No. And if you've seen what the Kennedy tape looks like, which I wouldn't recommend anyone check out, but it just comes to mind because of the subject. Like, the guy's head explodes like a melon, and it's on tape. So I don't know what it would look like. And you see, the thing is, and Kennedy was shot when he was on a parade in the back of a car. Trump here is like standing in front of a huge crowd of like thousands of people. Imagine the spectacle that would be if his melon exploded in front of all those people. That would be one of the most graphic images in American history. Reagan was shot and he also survived. That was in the early 80s, I believe. But Reagan was, I think it was just shot, moving between buildings, or it wasn't like in a political event. And there are interesting similarities between JFK, Ronald Reagan, and Trump. Well, not so much between JFK and Ronald Reagan, but connections with Trump, the both of them. But that's not a subject for this video. So it does show the sign of the times that violence is increasing, that there is no classical liberal solution to working out our problems through reason debate. The enemy hates us, but you can't assume that America is going to become a Mad Max scenario where it'll be every man for himself. We'll just see more organized blocs competing with each other. So if they're willing to put your guy, who you want to represent you, in jail, and if that doesn't work, if they're willing to try and just off him in any circumstance in front of any people, if they're happy to do that, which it seems that they are, because, I mean, that's the reasonable conclusion here. The enemies want him dead, even though he's not perfect. And I'm not even necessarily a big Trump supporter. I'm kind of cynical of all that stuff. Some people even argue that he's a containment mechanism, which of course to an extent he would be a containment mechanism. He might buy the regime many years by justifying giving boomers and the spiritual boomers who exist among the millennials, Generation Z, and all the others, spiritual boomers who continue that boomer worldview, giving them justification to believe that yes, the system can be saved, we can still vote our way out of the problem, and the Constitution will save us, and liberty and freedom will prevail because of our institutions. That, to an extent, Trump could be a containment candidate, but that doesn't mean that there aren't just people that want him dead. And let's remember that the elites there are these plans, there are these conspiracies, but there's a lot of incompetency going on amongst the elites. There may not be a unified front on how to react to Trump. So who knows what faction it was that paid to try and get him assassinated? And will they try again? What will they try at this point? Anything's on the table now. The Secret Service is probably just incompetent. I don't think you can chalk that up to a conspiracy. In this case, they're probably just incompetent. They didn't rush him off the stage right away like you're supposed to. They didn't seem to know where the shooter was coming from, but who can fault them? But real life is not like a movie most of the time. People screw up, corporations screw up, bureaucrats screw up all the time. Usually you don't know about it. Here was a spectacle where you could see it in real life action. Incompetency, violence, an attempted murder of a former president running for re-election. The times we live in 2024. Wake up from your classical liberal paradigm. Would they even stop Trump from winning the election? That's the thing, because now I don't know. Because I always thought, well, if they could rig the last one, why won't they just do the same thing a second time around? And then some people say, well, it wasn't all rigging. Biden did get some votes here and there. And so, I don't know, but he wasn't the most popular president in history. He didn't get more votes than Obama, but that's what they claim. But whatever the truth of it was, maybe I'm starting to believe that Trump could win another election, but I just don't know. What do they want him to win another election? Are they getting ready for that? Or are they just incompetent? They don't know what to do. They can't replace Biden. They don't have a unified front on how to react to Trump. So some people want him dead. Some people want him in there, a pressure release valve. If all this happens and then he doesn't win the election, then it'll just be funny. Because it'll be like, wow, you really can't get this guy in no matter what. This obviously would boost his popularity. That's just natural. You would expect people to support someone who the establishment is trying to kill. That doesn't mean that everything about them is right. But generally, Trump's platform is better for America by controlling the border, getting serious on deportations, taking the culture of America and the American people themselves, taking them seriously and actually representing their interests. Now, who knows if he'll do everything he says he'll do, but it's a better platform than on the Democrat side. That's why you can get behind someone like Trump, if he even gets elected. I have no idea what to think now, because if incompetency is the letter of the day, then how are they so competent to steal the last election? If incompetency is the letter of the day, then maybe they can't actually steal the next election. I don't know. I guess it depends on more factors that I can't think of. Hasta luego, amigos.